Hello, welcome back to People in Perspective. I'm Charlie Rodis, and today joining us on the program is Rodney Rodis, a comic illustrator slash writer, and he owns his own publishing company. Thank you for joining us on the program today, Rodney.
No problem.
So, where did you first get your inspiration in writing comics?
I've loved comics ever since I was a kid, so this was just a natural progression for me. From the first time I saw Batman on TV with Adam West to, now, watching pretty much every Marvel movie that comes out. It's a great source of inspiration for me.
So, when did you actually start writing comics?
Actually writing, I would definitely say within, probably since high school, because I don't traditionally write as in I sit behind a computer and type out all the details. I just sit there and then I lay out all the plot of how I want the story to go. And then from there I'll make some changes, and then to make it more cohesive and run tighter. And then I go in and then I just start filling in dialogue balloons. And that's about it.
Yeah, so as we can see here from your comics, you just tell us the name of the comics and what's generally about.
Okay, the comic is Bastilio Publishing Presents. All right, this is a trade paperback of the first 6 issues. And the basic premise is putting this, I don't know, for people in my age group, Ultraman, the Space Giants, and Johnny Sokko and the Giant Robot, if they all exist in the same universe. And probably the closest I can get to you is, 30 years out, which is like Power Rangers, VR Troopers, and Big Bad Beetleborgs, all in the same universe. So, yeah, that's basically the premise. It's tokusatsu based, or not tokusatsu inspired comics.
Yeah, and also as you can see here from the comic itself, as you can see here, it's kind of in a weird more square format rather than regular standard size comics. Why is that?
The reason why I chose more square size format is that I wanted to work smaller, and because I thought I could work faster. So I didn't have to have all this room to fill in. So I used 8.5 by 11 paper, and I just used that as the base. And so by the time we shrink it down and get it to read size, it's in line with more of a manga style comic.
Okay. Also, it seems that with your comic, you've gone independent when it comes to publishing it with your own publishing company. What is your publishing company, and what was your decision in wanting to release it independently?
98% of the reason why I wanted to independently release it was that I used to be an art teacher, and I got out of the business, went to the private sector, and if I didn't make art on my own time, it'd never get made. And I didn't want that to slide through my fingers. So I made the decision to put it out myself, and with that came with all the responsibilities of publishing. So I had to make sure, I had all the design, all the page count, flow, all of that stuff was all on me. Because I wanted to make sure my vision of what I wanted to do was uninterrupted.
All right. And since you own a company and you work on your comics outside of a full-time job you already have, what's the financial side of doing comics, having a full-time job, and owning this publishing company of yours?
My day job honestly bankrolls the comic books. That gives me money to go to cons, print up the books, pay people when I need outside help, a colorist. So that is a, great, sorry, that helps greatly. And then any money that I make off the books, comes back towards me and is recouped, and I invest back into the company.
And on top of the fact that you have a full-time job outside of doing comics, how do you deal with the work-life balance of it? And so, because if you were to only write comics outside of your free time, it may be turning into something that just feels like another job that you just don't want to do anymore. How do you deal with the work-life balance?
I pace myself. So, just what people don't seem to understand about comics is that they think it's like just all creative, but there's still mundane tasks like, okay, we have to create a schedule, we have to, pace, how much work gets done when, so we can meet our deadline. So that's what I do. So I just say, all right, I have the entire comic plotted out, and then I'll say, 3 pages a week, get it done. When the book's finally done, same thing. Okay, now we got to go through the lettering stage. I'll make sure I'll have the finished script, and then just start lettering. And again, since it's self-publishing, I can go at my own pace. I don't have to have such a solid deadline, and I try to get out 2 books a year because I know that's what I'm comfortable with.
And with that, how do you keep yourself from burning out, or what do you do to try and help yourself from keeping burnout from being a problem?
Once in a while when you just go down that rabbit hole, it's hard to sit back and look. So it's really about, at that point, just self-care. So if you feel like, if it's feeling too strenuous, take a break. That's something I wish I learned when I was much younger, but now that I'm older, a little bit wiser, like if you need to take a break for a day, 2 days, and then go back refreshed, and that's okay.
Yeah, and with all of this, what are your plans for the future when it comes to making comics?
I have this series, Bastilio Publishing Presents, which is going to run 13 issues. We're on issue 10 right now. And we're going to wrap that up with one complete story. Then I have another book called The History of Japan after that. And from there, I can't talk about that because that's just giving too much away.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on the show today, Rodney. It was, amazing learning about you. And
thank you.
Yeah. I'm Charlie Rodis. This was People in Perspective, and thank you for watching.